So asking you to think about it. What do you love? What have you been gifted with? What are your skills? What are your talents? What are your interests? And are you using them to fulfill a longing in your heart, a purpose that is in your heart, not your head? I'm really getting clear on this. It's not in your head. It's in your heart. You can feel it. What matters most? Because that, my friends, is really what we're here for. Hey, sales hunters, welcome to season 2 of Beyond the Business Plan, where heart meets hustle and every episode inspires you on your entrepreneurial journey. I'm LeAnn Lyon, and together we'll chart new courses, tackle challenges, and celebrate those big wins with expert guests, honest stories, and plenty of joy along the way. If you love the show, tap follow, subscribe, leave a quick review, or join our conversation with hashtag JoyMinder, because your support helps us reach and inspire more entrepreneurs. Set sail on your business adventure with Beyond the Business Plan. Hello, and welcome to a special year-end episode of Beyond the Business Plan. I am so grateful that you're here, and we are in that week, that final week of the year that is kind of a gap week, right? Because we had a time off last week for many of us. We had the Christmas holiday, at least. Stores were closed, right? And now we've got New Year's coming up and another day off. So there's this awkward week, and it's the last week of the year. So people are hustling to get their things done. And yet it's also kind of like, well, you know what? I've tried. I gotten as far as I got. I'm going to take some time off. So there's a lot of ways to approach this last week of the year. And I'm going to use this episode, which is just me, to talk a little bit about what's happened in 2025 and also what's coming up very soon in 2026 and some opportunities that will arise and that I'm anticipating and that I hope that you'll be part of. So we're going to talk a little bit today about the concept of the gap and the gain, which is the title of a book by Dr. Benjamin Hardy and Dan Sullivan. I'm actually reading the book right now, in the process of reading the book. The subtitle is The High Achiever's Guide to Happiness, Confidence, and Success. But I think the biggest thing, and this is a book recommended to me as in my many business experiences this year, as just one of the must-read books for entrepreneurs. So if you're thinking about entrepreneurship or you are an entrepreneur, maybe this is a way you want to spend a couple hours this gap week as we go into the new year over the weekend or something like that. It's not a long book. I got it on Audible and I'm really enjoying it. Before I dive into the rest of like the recap and the looking forward, I do want to say in 2026, in just a couple of weeks, on January 20th, we begin the rebranded summit. It used to be called the Restart Your Business Summit, which is what I called it when I started it in 2020, when restarting a business was necessary for so many people. And now with what all happened in 2025, we'll get into it. You know, I started this new podcast called Beyond the Business Plan. And then it made sense after doing the Restart Your Business Summit in September. It just made sense talking to people that is how I'm rebranding the summit as well. So January 20th through 23rd, now I got stuck. I have to relearn it. The Beyond the Business Plan Summit is coming your way. We have 8 amazing speakers that will be coming on stage. It's virtual, so you can jump in. The ticket is free. I'm not planning to change that, but go ahead and get your ticket early. We may have some extra bonuses with that. I have wonderful, wonderful speakers and topics. Jenny will be talking about how to build joy even during chaos, conflict, or crisis. That sounds like a great idea. Lee Smith will be unstoppable voice, master your self-talk, and unlock your genius, your gifts, and your greatness. Dr. Mel Krug will be here. She's going to talk about business by design, building your dreams beyond chaos. Are you picking up on a theme here a little bit? Yeah. Kara Jean Wilson is going to talk about the neurospicy advantage. Nathan Turner talking about from pumping weights to pushing paper. That should be interesting, but he's really talking about that transition going from professional to entrepreneur. Rachel Wonderland, very excited. The power of pivoting. Lessons from a dementia care director turned entrepreneur. Super excited about that. LeAnn Lyon talking about the resilience reset, 5 keys to work-life harmony. And possibly some other special guests here and there. Very excited. I'll be presenting here and there. I mostly am the MC of the whole event, so plenty of me. It runs from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Central Time. So Eastern, that means noon to 2, and Pacific, that means 9 to 11. Just 2 hours a day. Come on in, 2 speakers per day, plus me. And many of our speakers will be, just dropping gems, offering different things. Some may have a worksheet for you, or a website, or a link, or something you can do, something you can take away with you. And I am charging exactly $0 for this opportunity. So kind of a win-win. I do hope that you will grab your free ticket. The link is right down below, and we'll be ramping up towards that in the next couple of weeks. Now, if you're really intrigued by any of those speakers, many of them, their podcast episodes have recently already been dropped, have already been published, and 4 of them are coming up. So go ahead, anticipate those. I'm going to actually do a couple of drops in the coming weeks, like 2 per week instead of 1 per week, just so we can get these all in close to the summit time. So look forward to hearing from these great people, getting a little insight into what they're going to be talking about, and really appreciate you sharing this summit with people as well. How to get there? Super easy. joyminder.com/summit. And from there, you can get your free ticket and all sorts of other goodies. So that is the first thing that's going to happen in 2026. So now let's talk a little bit about the gap and the gain, because I'm going to use the summit as an example. A year ago in January, I said, I did a January summit. It went great. And I was like, okay, for May, I'm going to do this incredible summit. We're going to do this. It's going to be incredible. Then we're going to do a September summit. And then we're going to do another January summit. And I had it all laid out, and it was all great. And then April happened in my world. I'm not going to go into all the details, but let's just say that several key factors in my life that have been staples in my life for quite some time, things that I just did, things that I relied on, things that I'd changed my business model around, completely disappeared, dried up, no longer, not a factor, not going to pay me anymore, not going to exist anymore in one case. And I had to pivot. Oh, wait, did I just mention several of our speakers talk about pivoting? Because as an entrepreneur, that is one thing you will have to do. So if you don't like to pivot, or, you have a bum knee, figure out a way to do it. I mentioned the bum knee because that also happened in 2025 a few weeks ago. I have a broken leg. Woo! 2025 is harsh. These things happen in April. I broke my leg in November, right after starting back with martial arts. I was so excited. If you look back on my social media posts, if you could follow on my personal feed on Facebook, I'm like, I started back with martial arts, leave a legacy, all the pictures, super excited. 1 month later, I break my leg. So there's another example that we can use when we talk about the gap and the gain, because that May summit, nope. It didn't happen. I was the middle of the pivot was just too hard to make that summit happen in the midst of also just having to completely rebrand my podcast. I used to have a different podcast, and it was called Lead with LeAnn. That's what my podcast was in January of 2025. And you can still go find it. I think it's still out there somewhere. But when I had to change, when my podcast platform disappeared, I had to change. And so if I'm going to change, I'm going to see what else can I do to make it all better. So working with AI, which is another thing I did a lot of in 2025, was figuring out a better name for really what calls to me and really what change I want to help produce in the world. So beyond the business plan is what I came up with. And on June 3rd, I launched my first show. I published 2 episodes per week all the way through September. October 1st, I started my second season. I've been publishing 1 episode per week in season 2. And season 3 will begin in February. Well, we do anticipate a May summit. But not only did my summits change names, not happen one time, but it's also changed focus to some degree. So the upcoming summit in January will talk very much about the sailing system, which I did lead into in September, August, September. I did a whole podcast episode series if you want to go back and check it out. If you go to my website, joyminder.com/podcast, you can get to those episodes very easily if you just scroll down the page a little bit. But I've also, this January summit is going to be very specifically step by step, getting input on the different steps of the sailing system from these other entrepreneurs who have essentially been through and built their own businesses, which really follows those same steps. So that's going to be exciting. In May, you know what? There's a chance we're going to make another bit of a shift by May, but I'm going to play it out over the next couple of weeks, couple of months. I already have some of my recordings for season 3 done, still going to publish those, but there's a chance that, there's some other shifting happening as a result of some of the things that have happened in 2025. So not only do you have to be able to pivot sometimes, and a pivot is a hard thing. It's kind of a shift, move, 180-degree turn sometimes, but being open to change as necessary, that's also just sometimes what you have to do as an entrepreneur. Markets will shift. If you're in real estate, interest rates can significantly impact whether or not you're able to do as much business as you want, right? In all business, to some degree, we're dependent on the market. We're dependent on people having the money to buy things, having the confidence to buy things. There's all sorts of factors in business that we have to consider. What else happened in 2025? Glasses are new, totally new, kind of fun. I like them. Normally I wear my other jacket. I decided today to just do something a little different for the end of the year. And so this episode's going to stand out in my visually. That's okay. If you're just listening to the podcast, come on over to YouTube, check that one out too. You can see everything, but it's just me. I'm not really showing much today. But always happy to have you on YouTube. And what else? 2025. So I started a podcast, changed my summit, got glasses, broke my leg. Had some really great trips too. Had a really lovely week on the Mississippi, living on an island in the Mississippi. Also spent a week driving from Minnesota to Tennessee and back with my husband. We listened to the book High Performance Habits while we were on that trip and made some decisions. He moved from a company he'd been with for 5 years to a new company in November. So many changes in 2025. And many of them felt hard. And if I look back to January of 2025 and I thought, okay, this is the year I'm going to do, and I had a plan on what I was going to achieve, how much I was going to sell of a product that isn't even available to sell anymore. Huh. So when you look at things like that, you can get what's called gap thinking. And again, this is going back to the book by Dr. Benjamin Hardy. You can look at what you don't have yet. You can look at what's missing. And I think he gives the example that when you're out in the world, and I'm a boater, so and not a sailor actually, which is funny because I have the sailing system, but I'm a boater. And when you're out on a boat, you can see the horizon, but you can never get there, right? You can boat as long as you want, and you're never going to get to the horizon. The horizon keeps moving. And goal setting is a lot like that. And entrepreneurship is a lot like that. So if you're always looking at where you aren't yet, that's gap thinking. But let's shift gears. Instead of focusing on what's missing, let's talk about how far we've actually come. That's the gain. So I'm going to go back to my currently broken leg. Gap thinking would be, oh my goodness, I broke my leg just when after a 9-year hiatus, I had just started back to get my second degree black belt. I left 9 years ago because I busted my ACL the night before second degree black belt testing. If you've listened to my podcast, you've heard that story before. But here I am. I'm so excited in November that I got back. And now in December, I have a broken leg. The gap thinking is, it's over. It's never going to happen. This is a sign. I'm not meant to do it. I'll never get there. That's the gap thinking. The gain thinking is, I'm so glad that I started back with martial arts before this happened, because in just a couple of weeks, I already felt how much better my body felt doing martial arts again. I felt the increase in energy. I felt the increase in strength. I went from, this is embarrassing to share, but hey, I'm all about open book, right? The first day when they had us do push-ups, maybe I could do one. Maybe I could do two. And by the day just before I broke my leg, I did 15. In 1 month. I went from barely able to do a push-up to doing 15. And so if I could do that in 1 month, imagine what I will be able to do when I get back and be able to continue working. Now, I have to heal my leg, go to physical therapy. I messed up my MCL and ACL a little bit too, but no surgery. Thank you. Thank you, Jesus, that no surgery. So, it's patience. And the other gain thinking I'm having is, look at this opportunity now in the quiet of the winter. I really can't go running or take long walks. This is an opportunity for me to study more. I've been taking my CE credits for my real estate license instead of waiting to the last minute in June when I'd rather be out on the boat. And I'm studying some really interesting topics. I have gotten into private money brokering this fall, a whole fascinating story, a whole new business as well. And this has given me an opportunity to dive more into that and to find more people to come alongside with that. So I'm meeting people who are already in real estate, people who are already real estate investors, people who are also private money lenders. And so I want to meet those people, and this gives me the perfect opportunity. I have less time that I am able to be at a gym or be at the martial arts studio. And so the gain is that I'm able to use this time differently right now while I continue to improve my nutrition. I continue to lose some excess weight, and anticipate getting stronger. I start physical therapy in a couple of days, and I'm looking forward to working with a physical therapist to say, what else can I do to get back my strength while I wait for my body to heal? Because there is such a thing as, it takes energy to heal. And so while my bone is healing, I don't necessarily want to go full out even strength training, but there may be things that I can do. So I'm looking forward to that as well. So do you hear what I'm saying? You can look at what you haven't got, or you can look at what you have already achieved. Which one do you think is a little more personally satisfying? It's definitely the gain. It's definitely the gain. And I spent yesterday about 5 hours journaling. I'm showing my little journal that is very close to being completely written in. I just started it in June of this year. It looks like I may close it out over the new year. And I did a little exercise, totally up to you if you want to try this yourself. But I wrote down the things that happened in 2025. I also started to explore, what could be in 2026? Where could I get? What could I earn? How could I transform everything I'm doing from Joyminder to the private money brokering? By the way, you can check that out. I'm going to say it on here because it's just more fun, I think. But go to savagelyon.com, Lyon, like my last name. And that will bring you over to my private money brokering website. I do have another more sedate website for that as well. It's Lyon, Lyon, capital LLC.com. If you want to find out more about that, that's great. But journaling allowed me to some time to process, what might this look like moving into 2026 and how will I balance, doing that, which I'm finding very rewarding in terms of helping people. Um, my very first loan that closed just recently helped a woman buy a home that will be fixed and flipped and help her raise more capital that she will be able to use to buy more homes that she rents out to people uh, that are out of rehab and need some stability. They also need a rental history. And so she helps them as they're getting transitioned back into being able to do the things, have a job and have rent and do their things. And I just admire that so much. And I know that there's a lot of other people who want to provide homes for people who are coming out of addictions and becoming sober, and they just need places to stay. I have another person I'm talking to, and she really wants to start having homes where people who are not, they don't have homes that they can live in temporarily while they're getting back on their feet. And I'm sure all these people have businesses and they'll set up their processes, and I won't be part of that, but I can be part of helping them get the homes. And that just really makes me happy. It's a total different side of real estate that I never knew about. And it's just fun. It really, truly is fun. And by the way, it doesn't take me a lot of time. So it allows me to continue doing my podcast, which I think I enjoy, continue doing my summits, which I pray blesses people, and I hope it can bless you or people that you pass this information on to as we do our summit in January. So those are some of my big plans for 2026 for me personally. And I'm, do this as you wish, but also want to step a little bit more into letting go and letting God. I'm a very, very self-determined person. I always have been. I like to do things. I like to do them now. I don't want to wait. I get an idea. I make a move. I follow through. Well, that's another discussion, but we're here. This is like my 52nd podcast since June 3rd. Not bad for 6 months. And I do have follow through. And I do love making a difference. But that self-determined side of me, I think, has led me astray quite a bit. And so in 2026, I really want to step more into, what is the bigger plan for my life? Because I really do believe, and I've said this before many times on my show, if you've listened, I believe we were all given an assignment, a purpose, and that purpose has been known since the beginning of time for each of us. And I believe that We are here for a reason. We were given our gifts. We were given our talents. We were given our looks. We were given our abilities. We were given our disabilities potentially so that we can fulfill that mission. Do I know my mission 100%? No, but I do know that I've been gifted with a few things. One, I've been gifted with looks. I've been gifted with the ability to connect with people. I've been given my just fascination with people. I love, love, love interviewing. Another thing that came up in 2025 out of the blue and in August was the opportunity to help people do their own podcasts. I'm part of a group called Legal Podcast Network, and people hire them to produce their podcast for them. And I am one of the hosts that can be selected from, where I come in, I do their intro, I ask the questions, I do the outro, pretty much what I do on my own show, except that I'm helping them produce their show. And I love doing it. I only do it a few hours a week. But it really truly brings me joy and income, which I'm also enjoying. So, using my talents, use it to help other people. And again, I'm helping them and getting paid, which is beautiful, is just something I really, truly do enjoy. So I'm going to close today asking you to think about it. What do you love? What have you been gifted with? What are your skills? What are your talents? What are your interests? And are you using them to fulfill a longing in your heart, a purpose that is in your heart, not your head? I'm really getting clear on this. It's not in your head. It's in your heart. You can feel it. And don't let your heart lead you astray. Don't live just in your passions. I'm saying go to your heart in terms of what matters most. Because that, my friends, is really what we're here for, I think. I'm so grateful for every day on this planet. And I wake up every morning and I say, thank you, God, for the breath in my lungs and another day to make a difference. I don't take it for granted. And I'm happy to be here. I'm really happy to be closing out 2025. It was a hard year, but I see the gain that 2025 brought. And I'm looking forward to 2026 and all that it will bring. And I want that for you as well. So I will close with that. And thank you for listening. Thank you for being part of this. Please do take a moment, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, whatever that, write a review. Those things would help me tremendously. If you're getting value out of this, I would love a share to other people, other social media that could help more people hear what we're doing with Beyond the Business Plan, both the podcast and the summit. Thank you, my friends, my sales setters. And I look forward to seeing you and hearing from you at the January 2026 summit coming up very, very soon. Thank you for sailing with us, sales setters. Remember, your journey goes beyond the business plan. So keep charting your own course, leading with heart, and tuning in for more joy and inspiration. Find all the resources and connections in the show notes below, and your support means the world to us. So join our conversation at #JoyMinder, or simply share your favorite takeaways in the comments section below. Until next time, set your sails for success. Hey Hey, sales setters, are you ready to launch or refresh your business? Join us at the very next Beyond the Business Plan Summit for breakthrough strategies and inspiration. Visit joyminder.com/summit or check the link in the show notes for our incredible list of speakers and topics, and let's go beyond business plans together.